Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, August 8th, 2023. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business provides quality work both on the inside and on the outside of your home or business. Give Brian a call today. The number's right there on the screen, 715-520-2271. Like Fitzy and I, they believe that it's the little things that make a big difference, man. It just does. And holy cow, Fitzy, it's our 150th show.
Awesome.
It's ridiculous.
Amazing. It is kind of crazy when you think about it, where we started from and what we're doing now. And people love it. I talked to a guy that towed my car away that lived in Minnesota that had some family in the area and knows about our show and watches it when he can. And Mike Schaefer's driving in the car today. He said he's going to have it on because he's got to go to a meeting. And I know where Brian, I know where Brian is today. He's on my mom and dad's roof, fixing their roof. So he's got his crew out in their neighborhood doing roofs, and it's amazing. He can do a roof and then put it all back on in the same day. And there's some big roofs out there. So
one day, my brother had a construction company. This was like 20 years ago. I did it kind of part time, and it was roofing, and we did a church in Fall Creek, so he asked me to do it. He's like, it's like a 3-week thing or something like that. Maybe it was a week, whatever. And the pitch was like a 12 or something. And, you know, the scariest thing is it's not getting off the ladder onto the roof. It's getting from the roof onto the ladder when you're carrying. No. People who do roofs, thank you for doing that. Because I would not want to. Oh, and good morning, Representative Gabe Magnifici. And, Bunny.
Yeah.
Your mom.
Making a lot of noise probably in their house today.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
there is that. Yeah. When do they start? Like at 7 in the morning?
Probably.
Thank you, Brian. That's very nice. Oh, wow. We've had seriously, thanks, everyone.
We were going to give stuff away, but people should give us stuff.
No kidding. Like, why should we give stuff away? We did the 150 shows. Give us stuff.
I would think Spooner Health would give us something.
You'd think so. Mike's too cheap. All right, so we have actually a lot has been going on recently. There were some situations in St. Croix St. Croix County. There was a few deaths. Russ County Sheriff Wallace put out some things, but specifically Barron County. This is the stuff we'll get to. You had put out a press release. Our headline was tragic incident on, how do you pronounce that? Like
Pokegama.
Pokegama Lake. 2 men were found deceased. We had a couple of press releases from the Wisconsin State Patrol regarding OWIs after 3-vehicle crash, another for 6th offense OWI, and then we just had an insider story yesterday that Cumberland woman faces reckless homicide charges in Fentanyl-Meth death case. So I really can't wait to get your takeaways on that. There's kind of a lot to unpack there. But as always, we like to start with a sports question. So I was going to actually talk about the women's soccer, but apparently America didn't even really care, which is weird because, you know, anytime USA goes and does something, it's like, yay, America. But nobody really cared, so we're not going to talk about it. So my question is, there's a lot going on in the Big Ten. Oh, Bunny said they start at 6:30 in the morning. Hopefully they're early risers. Yes. Yes. And thank you, Jody and Heather. Man, this is just great. This is what we get. We just said that, you know, did you get your camera? Did you unhook everything? You're fuzzy.
No, I didn't. Hang on.
All right. Sign out. Get back in.
No, I think.
No, I think I could. Hold on. He'll be right back. He has to hit some buttons or something right before we do this. Otherwise, it doesn't work for him, and he gets fuzzy. So he'll be back on. He already knows what my question is going to be today. I gave him a hint, so I'll just tell everybody. So my question is, there's a lot going on. No, Renee. I knew you were going to say that, Renee. No, I'm not going to say. The Big Ten. Huge changes, like from the Pac-12. This isn't just college football, of course. It's all sports. There you are. There. So I was just prefacing what the question was. So the Big Ten, there have been a lot of changes. They already have 12 teams, but now they're going to have, starting, I believe, next year, 18 teams. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually add 2 more on to make it 20.
They're going to have to.
Split division, right. Man, the Pac-12 is over 100 years. They're just going to be gone in like a week, which is crazy. But the Big Ten has now added USC, Oregon, Washington, and UCLA.
Right.
So my question is, a lot of people in Wisconsin, of course, are Badgers fans. Now, I'm talking specifically about college football. It's already been kind of a struggle with Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State in the Big Ten. But does this effectively end any likelihood of the Wisconsin Badgers winning a college football championship in the next 10 years if we have USC and Oregon? I mean, these are some powerhouse teams, man. Is this a good thing for the Badgers or a bad thing for the Badgers? Can they win?
That's a good question. Can they win? I think they're going to have to split these into certain divisions. I think you got to win your division, then there'll be a playoff. So I think it'll get more exciting because there'll be this playoff atmosphere, which doesn't mean anything to anybody except the Big Ten, which will be the Big 20. Are they going to change the name from Big 10 to Big 20?
I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe.
Yeah. Well, you're not the Big 10 anymore, but they weren't when they added 12, I guess, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
So
is this a good or a bad thing? Is this? I mean, seriously, the Badgers are like the Bears.
Right.
They just can't get a good quarterback.
Right.
I mean, except for like Russell Wilson for 1 year, the Badgers have not had a good quarterback in forever.
But does that help you recruiting because you're going to play more teams, get more exposure? I mean,
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So you could, now you're on the national level. Every one of your games is at the national level. You're not playing, Appalachian State or whoever. I have no offense to anybody that went there, but
except Appalachian State, we're offending you right now because they're not watching. Who cares?
I'm probably gonna be on CNN tonight. I don't know.
Yeah. Again, yeah. Oh, and good morning, Kirk. Wouldn't be the same without technical difficulties. You're right, 100%.
Right. I got new carpet in my office, so I had to change some things, and so I had to make sure it was all set yesterday, and it wasn't. And then I didn't make the changes this morning. So
yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. So yes, but I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's probably good for recruiting. I think it's probably good. I don't know that we win, but I think, you only got to beat 4 different teams. I think so I think it's probably good.
Okay. I'm holding my judgment. I don't know how this is going to play out. Okay. I don't like the fact that the Big Ten, now we have from like the mental health aspect for these colleges, because it's not just college football, of course. It's everything. It's swimming, it's tennis, it's everything that the colleges offer. Now we're having like Oregon traveling to New Jersey. That's where the Rutgers play. What? That's and they still have to go to college,
They'll figure that out. I think that's good I think it's good for kids. I mean, just in what Jace does and his travels and how it made him a different person. I think it's good for these kids to see that. I think the schools have it under control. I think it's always about money, of course. Maybe not the student athlete, but they take care of them. And, I think it comes down to this, and I don't think it's a bad thing.
Well, as the NBC executive in the 90s once said, that the answer to your question in all questions is money.
Right.
It just is. That's the answer to just about every question.
Right.
If you peel all the layers back, it's just money. All right, what is your sports question, and then we can get moving on.
So mine's not really a question; it's a comment. You watched The Last Dance, right?
Yes, I love that. I've watched like 3 times.
So I'm only on episode 6, so don't wreck it.
Okay.
I've just started watching it. It's really, really good, isn't it? It's really behind the scene looks at Michael Jordan and the Bulls and how the process of NBA basketball works, and it's really interesting. If you haven't watched it, I don't really have a question, but I just wanted your opinion on that. And it's pretty real life, and
I loved it.
Somebody held all these videos for a lot of years without leaking it, man.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting, because at the very beginning it says that this is from behind the scenes. They recorded that whole season, that last of their 6 championships. And I'm like, wait, but we're just now hearing about this? Oh, now you're all fuzzy again. What'd you do?
There's nothing hooked up. I don't get it.
What'd you do, boy? Oh, and now you're frozen.
I'm not hooked up to nothing. Now I'm frozen.
Oh, South Dakota. Yeah, it's absolutely excellent. And if you go on to, like, I have ESPN Watch, because it's that bundle, Disney Plus to Hulu and ESPN. There's an option to watch with swearing and all the swears beeped out. I accidentally clicked on it one time, and the kids were around, and it was with the swearing in, and I'm like, holy buckets.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently there's another version for that. Yeah, you're sign back out, and, well, no, you're good now.
Yeah.
That's so bizarre.
No, I think I'm good. I don't know.
Okay.
About that. I have everything. But
Hey,
anyway.
speaking of sports.
Anyway, it's a good show. Watch it. It really, and interview Michael today, and all that video wasn't leaked before the show. It was pretty impressive.
It was. And if you like the Bulls, I mean, my good, it's so great.
How did
and
they not?
Oh, it was so great. All the behind this in the 10th year. I remember that came out. It was supposed to be, that was during COVID. It was supposed to be released that fall, but when COVID happened, everyone was at home. They actually moved up the timetable like 3 months to hurry up and get it out. And that's what made it like the biggest documentary series of all time. Oh, it was fantastic.
Man, it's just amazing how one guy like Jerry Krause can wreck a whole team. I mean, it's just like, wow. It's like, holy God. Why not keep Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan? And man, it's interesting. Anyway, it's a good show.
It is. It's absolutely a great show. Speaking of sports, you and I last Wednesday, of course, went to our golf outing. Speaking of Mike Schaefer, and we played pretty well, man. We got a 66. That was 5 under. The year before, we were 5 over. So we improved, 10 strokes.
And we used one of my shots.
What?
We used one of my shots even.
Yeah. Like you and I, aren't necessarily the greatest. Dad, for a 75-year-old man or 75 years. Oh, yeah. Dad's birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, David really cared. That's my brother-in-law. But that was a lot of fun. It was a long day. I think we finished not till we started at 1. We finished at 5:30, 4.5 hours out there. It was friggin' hot and humid. But it was so great. I had a closest to the pin. What?
Yeah.
So I got a prize for that. I still have to go and get that. You won something?
I won the grand prize. I won a big canopy,
gazebo tent or something.
Gazebo thing. Yeah, a gazebo thing. So I picked it up from Mike Schaefer last night. He was nice enough to store it because I had to leave. But yeah, the Spooner Golf outing was awesome. Spooner Golf Course, unbelievable, beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
I think when you move this up next year, we'll start at 11 instead of 1, Mike.
Mike.
Yeah, let's start at 11, end a little sooner.
That'd be better for Fitzy and I. So, yeah.
Right, that'd just be better for us. Yeah, that's right.
It'd just be better. We're a platinum sponsor. Come on, we got to have some pull.
Come on.
And then, so afterwards, we didn't get to see all the scores that came in because afterwards, my brother-in-law had to go to the cities, drive 2 hours back. Dad and I were both tired. Plus, I had to get back to work because, when I'm gone for 6 hours, nobody else is doing it. So I had to get back. But then you had to leave and go down to Toma, I think, for a Badger State Sheriff's Association. You had to give a presentation, I think. What was that about?
Sheriff Knutson, Sheriff Wallace, Joe Warner from the Sheriff of Pepin County, and I spoke to all the sheriffs about how we handled, and really how Scott Knutson, Sheriff Knutson, handled the officer death of Katie Lysing, and what we did, and what was our role. And we did just a 10,000 foot view of that. And in December, we're going to do a 3 to 4 hour presentation, maybe even longer, because we're going to invite DCI and the State Patrol and State Honor Guard, and what happens, what is a sheriff you should do when something like that happens. And again, no one ever trained us for that when it happened here locally. Didn't train Sheriff Knutson and what he did and how you handle your staff and what your staff should do. And when you bring in, Holly Hakes was there and did some stuff on officer-involved shootings and how to handle staff and how to take care of yourself. And so it was really good meeting to get together. Sheriff Wallace and cooked prime rib on this grill he brought down. So it was great.
Was just out of curiosity, was the Washington County Sheriff down there?
He was not.
Okay. I was just curious. So was that something that you find valuable? Like when you go to this and you're giving a presentation, or is it, no, they asked me to give a presentation, I give a presentation, we eat some food and I go home?
No, it's definitely valuable. The interaction. I met with Sheriff Finch down there. She was down there. The Eau Claire County Sheriff, Dave Riesenthal, was down there. We talked for a while. And obviously, Sheriff Wallace and I are very good friends as sheriffs and as outside of work. And so we got to talk, and you get to relax a little bit. You get to network a little bit. You get to learn a little bit. You get to learn that you're doing some things right. Some people have it worse than you. I mean, if you look at Eau Claire County, they got to hire 18 people. I mean, I got to hire 2. Yeah, he's 18 people short. So you learn that it isn't so bad. Some people have it worse off than you. You learn about some things and your network. Like I learned Eau Claire County might need some jail space, and they might need some. And I have a couple of spots for them, so they might be able to. You're not something you think about on a daily basis. So, no, really, really good. Some good training, good efforts put on by everything. We were down at the Three Bears Resort right there on 94.
Oh,
really
I've
nice.
Been there. That's a great place. We used to vacation. You can rent villas there.
Yeah.
Because me, that's my idea of camping. It's got to have a bed, climate control, and indoor plumbing.
I agree with all
Yeah,
of that.
I remember when Dad was sheriff, he would go to the Badger State Sheriff Association things. Actually, he still goes. I think he's coming. It's quarterly, if I recall.
Right.
I think he's going to the one as a retired sheriff. He's going to the one this fall or the next one.
December.
Yeah, I can't remember why. I don't know what it is about that he's going.
It's in Hayward, so it's just close. And we invite retired sheriffs. Once you're a sheriff, you're always a sheriff. And I think it's good to, to pick their brains. I mean, your dad hasn't been out of it that long. He knows still some things. He ran a sheriff's department for years. So
28 years.
Right. And so that's what I mean. And that's what it's about is what would you do in this case? Yesterday I talked to a different department head just here in the county and what would you do when we hired this guy? What do you think his schedule should be? And I'm like, well, it's different from law enforcement, but this is what we did. And he's like, oh, that's a good idea. And we go back and forth. So.
Oh, speaking of sheriffs.
Oh, and the one in October too. I forgot about that. I can't go. I'm out of town the one in October, so I won't be going in October.
You're doing a show that day with Dryden, so you can't. I'm just kidding.
I'm off that whole week. I'm actually going out of town for the tech college, so I'll be missing the show in October. So
okay, fine.
Okay.
All right. So we have to get to some press releases and some articles. We'll start with the tragic incident where 2 people were discovered deceased in Barron. We'll get to that after 15 seconds from a word from Spooner Health.
Satisfaction surveys and in conversations with patients, they appreciate the fact that staff got to know them. Staff really took their preferences into account, and they just feel grateful that they are being cared for as a person.
To learn more about our services, visit spoonerhealth.com.
All right. No, it doesn't have to have a microwave in a mini fridge. Just those first 3. Now, it would be nice. But that would be more for Jerusha. She does all the cooking in the house. She won't let me touch anything. So, all right. So there was, an unfortunate situation. I believe you sent this press. So you were gone. So after golf Wednesday, you left right after that and had to leave. And then when did you get back?
Friday.
Friday. So then you walked right into this situation, right? So for people who weren't paying attention to this or didn't see it on your Facebook page or on Dryden Wire, what was the situation where ultimately you ended up finding 2 people deceased?
So the first call came in about 4:15 Friday afternoon. My phone went off with our admin page, which we get paid to any major case, and it was a drowning or a suspected drowning. Our team was on its way down to Pokegama Lake. I jumped in my car, went down to Pokegama Lake. Ultimately, we should go national. There you go. I like that. And so, sometimes I agree with that. So,
we were national once, but it was for bad reasons.
Talking about dolphins and stay in your lane.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sticking by that stay in your lane.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's a thing. That's a good analogy.
Right. So, anyway, we went down to the lake and ultimately recovered a body in the lake. Had found a pontoon that was floating with no one on it, a life jacket in the water. We believed there was another person, so we continued to look. Ultimately ended up doing an investigation both in the lake while we continued to look for a possible other suspect, and had to do an investigation on the shore to determine if there really was a second person on the boat. Because we didn't know, obviously, there appeared to be a second person on the boat based on things like hats and sunglasses and this life jacket in the lake, and some different things were in place. So we had to do some quick. My team did an awesome job of going back and forth from different places and houses and possible people that might be with this person. First of all, you have to deliver news that this person we did recover in the lake is deceased, and then you have to try to get out of their family or friends, hey, who might have been with this person? When did you last see them? And, did they go here or here? And Chetek lakes are a big, Chetek chain of lakes is a huge lake. So the fire department was out there, Chetek Fire, and they have a dive team that's top notch. Hats off to the Chetek Fire dive and rescue team. We were at Six Lakes Resort, which is a campground that has a bar and restaurant on it. They let us use the shoreline. They provided us with some pizza to keep us all searching. It was really nice of them. Ultimately, we determined that there was a second person on this pontoon, more than likely, because we had several accounts then. It took us about 2 to 3 hours to figure this out. We're now at 7 p.m. We determined definitely there's a second person. During this whole time, we are searching the lake for a second person. Our boats have sonar on them, some pretty high-tech sonar, not as high-tech as some other boats. We had actually a private citizen said, my boat has this great sonar. Can I come out and look? Yes, you can. The DNR responded with their sonar, their boats, their wardens, couple wardens from another county came. And obviously then we have the dive team. So what happens in a drowning is our sonar marks spots. They're like, that's a weird shape at the lake. And then we mark that with a buoy. And then the dive team comes over and they dive where the buoy is and figure out that it's a fish crib. It was a pontoon awning. It was a whatever, ultimately. So it's a dark spot sometimes in the bottom of the lake, or, it might look like something really long. And here it was a pontoon cover. Someone lost their pontoon cover and just left it in the bottom of the lake, or the awning part, and just dropped it in the bottom of the lake. So
it could high winds. It blew off, and they're like, screw it. I'm not going to dive down there and try to pull that out.
Right, exactly. So we were in about 15 to 18 feet of water. Ultimately we couldn't. It was about 9 o'clock. We decided to end. They can't dive when it's dark or don't want to dive. We could have if we had to. We don't like to do that. It's dangerous. We pulled our divers. About a half hour later, we pulled all our boats. We knew we were in recovery mode at that time, not rescue mode. So we decided to pick it up early in the morning.
Can I stop you right there? Yeah, so that night, you've already said, because this wasn't actually stated in the press release that it was a drowning, but you could assume that, of course, or infer that. How do you determine that aspect? I mean, you have one person, and I don't know if you can even talk about this, but maybe more in generalities if you feel more comfortable with that way. But if you have one person that you have found deceased on a pontoon, was the pontoon still it's on the water, right? It wasn't like under the water.
No, it was on the water. It was actually running in neutral.
Okay, so then you have one person that is you found deceased. Now you know there's another, but the pontoon is doing fine, so it's okay. What happened? Is at any point here, is it, do you know, okay, this is a drowning and probably the other person is drowned too? Or are you also, I mean, it's your job to think about this stuff, that maybe there was foul play here. Does that cross your mind? Do you have to rule that stuff out? Or is it, at that point, we don't care. We just need to find the other person. We don't care about anything else.
Well, we didn't feel there was any danger, so I agree. We didn't care how it happened yet. The medical examiner will help us determine that. If there was blunt force trauma to the head or gunshot wound in the chest or whatever, something like that. Obvious. There was nothing obvious on the first victim. So no, at that time I didn't. It's not that I didn't care. I just didn't. It's recovery, and then we'll determine. Oh my gosh, this guy has.
And be clear, I'm not trying to say that there was foul play at all. I was just curious from how that process works. When do you start the kind of the investigating part? Is it and it sounds like it's right now. The first one didn't see anything that was like a red flag or seemed like a drowning. We know there's another one. Let's find. So Saturday morning, you guys get back out there.
Right. And they go out early when there's no boats on the water, no waves, and use the sonar. Another company called 5 Star Sonar, which is a local Cameron company, a couple guys, local Cameron guys come out and said, hey, can we use our sonar on this? We think we have a pretty good system set up. Boom, they hit it right away. Hit 3 spots. Divers get there. By 7:45, we're diving in the water already. Boom, by 8:30. They have the second suspect, or second, it's not suspect, second subject. And no foul play is suspected in this. I'll feel free to say that live on TV. There's no foul play. There's nothing we're investigating that's suspicious in nature on this at all. I couldn't tell you right now if it's medical, if they went swimming, if they couldn't get back in the boat. I don't know the answers to any of these questions. I don't know that we'll ever know. We might know the medical during an autopsy. If the medical examiner has an autopsy, then he meets with the family and they decide what the process is going to be. If an autopsy is done, maybe they both had heart attack. I don't know the answer. I mean, it could be medical. It could be they both went drowning. It could be alcohol. It could be anything when it comes to these type of things. And both people have died, and we have the last person that we think saw them, what they were doing. We know that, but that's all we know, and they hadn't been seen for a couple hours. So I don't know if they had been in the water for 4 hours before this happened, or if they went right out and, I don't know if they went fishing first and then they fell in the water, or it got really hot. It was hot that day. So I don't know, but hats off to the Six Lakes Resort, 5-star sonar, Chetek Dive and Rescue, Chetek EMS, the Wisconsin DNR. I mean, this is, again, a team approach when it comes to this. This isn't the sheriff's department. I know sometimes we put the press release out, but, man, that Chetek Fire and Rescue dive team, all volunteers, all giving up their Friday night, their Saturday morning. I mean, these citizens coming out and helping.
Yeah.
Hats off
It's a
to
community.
our firemen. I mean, this is what they do. It's Friday night. I know the one guy was like, I got to go home. We're having a baby shower tomorrow. I mean, they have lives too, and it just doesn't stop because it's Friday night. I had stuff to do. I would have loved to been sitting at home after 3 days of, traveling and going back and forth and being at meetings all day. But this is what we do. And people sometimes don't understand that these are volunteers. And so when they have their pancake breakfast, when they have their, 4-wheeler fundraiser, buy a ticket, man. This is what they didn't get that. Well, they get paid when they go on a call, a lot of them, but they don't get paid to do this they don't get paid.
Speaking
full-time
of pancake breakfast, fireman, Jack Pine Savage was here. So Saturday morning, one of my daughters, Annalise, she was up from Bloomer. She's 20, and we went to the fireman's pancake breakfast here in Spooner at the firehouse. Holy cow, those firemen know how to put on a breakfast. I'm just saying.
They do.
They do. Holy cow, it was 3 different kinds of pancakes and sausage links and strawberry toppings and all this, and it was like $6 each, so it's $12. So of course we gave 20. We're like, just duh, because that would have been each one of those meals been $15 at a restaurant. Right. It really should have cost the two of us $30. So $20 is nothing, and I love seeing the turnout. And this is what my daughter Annalise was talking about. She goes, this is small towns. I'm not saying that people don't turn out for this stuff. I don't even know if they do these things in big cities. I'm sure they do. But this is just great. Looking around and all these people. It was from 7 to 11. We got there like 7:30 and it was packed. I mean, holy cow. And it went on all day. It was just great. So it's our firefighters, for crying out loud.
Yeah, they're the best. And it's the team approach, and we work together, and that's how these work. So
we even go golfing together. I know.
That's right. Once a year.
Once a year. We see each other once a year. Actually, twice for the fireworks as well.
Right.
Small town proud, 100%. All right. So is there anything else that you wanted to say about that tragic incident? I think you put, I can't remember if there were names, and if there were, I don't really care to say those now, but I believe you also put in ages. Do you remember? I thought it was relatively young ages, but I can't remember now.
59. They were both 59.
Okay. I was thinking a little. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a tragedy.
And thoughts and prayers are with their families. I mean, that's tragic. I met with both families. I mean, that's not easy to do. Meeting with families, both families were great.
But you got to disconnect yourself a little bit, right? I mean, they're grieving.
Right.
You want to be empathetic, but you also can't let your emotions. I mean, it's not that you've done this so much you're just numb to it. But at the same time, you have to be numb to that sometimes. Like, you can be emotional about it. I'm sure some incidents affect you more, and our firefighters and our first responders and our cops. Maybe one incident doesn't. Like, when I do our obituaries, I do a whole bunch a day. And it's like, okay, just matter-of-factly. And then every once in a while, there'll be one, and I'm not kidding. I'll, start crying. And not even know this person. But I just happen to be reading through this, and it just affects me somehow. So when you're talking with the family, you have to not let your emotions control you, but at the same time, you can't be super stiff and just matter-of-factly. You also have to show compassion. How do you do that? What's the balance? How do you do that?
Well, I think with this one family, the second family, because they came that night. They actually came the next morning and were out there. And I said, listen, I'm honest with them. I said, I'm going to tell you some things. If you don't agree, you don't have to agree with them. I'm going to tell you not to look at the body. I'm going to tell you, hey, we're going to be down on the shoreline. They were above on the hill, giving us some space to work. And I said, you're going to see us laughing. You're going to see us joking. That's how we have to deal with some.
That's how you process it, man, or you freak out.
Offended by that. Someone was offended that I put this post on Facebook, and I said 6 Lakes Resort, thanks for the pizza, and they said this is inappropriate that
It's
you put
not.
thanks for you guys
Shut
were
up.
eating pizza, and these people were this guy just died. Hey, I dealt with that family. I know exactly, and I changed it. I shouldn't have. I changed it. And I said thanks.
Why?
Well, because I wanted to explain myself a little bit more. And I said, thanks for the pizza for allowing us to be able to keep searching without taking a lunch break. We just grabbed the pizza, threw it on the boat, and they could go back out. We didn't have to take 15 minutes to eat and, refresh ourselves. We just grabbed the pizza, threw it on the boat, and they went right back out to do the sonar.
So they were thinking more like, hey, it's always nice to get free pizza when we're out on these. I get it. Well, come on. You got to. That's a stretch.
I was going to purchase the pizza, and someone else already purchased it. I mean, I planned on purchasing it. I always purchase our food. Other people buy us food. I can't do anything about it. Somebody paid the bill. I'm pretty sure 6 Lakes Resort did, but they didn't tell me. They just said it's taken care of. Don't worry about it. Keep doing what you're doing. And it irritated me a little bit, and I get to talk about on this show the stuff that irritates me because that's how I get to deal with it sometimes. Yeah. And too bad if you didn't like that. I'm sorry, but I just had dealt with the family. They were 100% okay with it. That's the only people I care about. I don't care about. And people say, and what had nothing to do with our post, but someone said it's the First Amendment, a police department, not any local police departments. This was in a different city, in a different county. Took some comments off of Facebook, and I'm going to file a complaint. That's First Amendment. You know what? If I get a First Amendment complaint, I'll just quit doing Facebook, and then no one will know what's going on. I mean, I enjoy doing it Facebook. I enjoy letting people know what we do. I don't like telling them about all the bad stuff, but I think we do a lot of good stuff too. And so you just because we put it on Facebook doesn't give you the right to just hammer us or do whatever. We're not perfect at our jobs. When we do some bad stuff, you can hammer us. I guess that's fine. But just because you don't like that we put pizza on our Facebook, I shouldn't have changed it, but I did because I just made it cleaner. So no one else thought we were just eating pizza, and just pulled this guy from Lake and decided to eat free pizza. That's not how it happened. That's not.
Well, you didn't take it down. What you're saying, you just reworded it, right?
I just added to the end.
And here's the thing. That's actually perfectly fine because, I look back. I don't regret any post we've ever done. However, there are probably 4 or 5 that looking back, I still would have done them, but I would have done them a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. And that's a nice thing. I've put up posts before, and then like 20 minutes later, I'm going, now I think about that headline. Let me change. I'm just going to edit that. I don't take the story down. I'm just going to change that one word. It could make people think something that it doesn't specifically state. No, I think that's perfectly fine. I think actually that's probably smart because if not, then everybody would have jumped on it. And because, that's how social media goes. One person says something and everyone's like, oh, yeah, I wasn't offended, but now I am that somebody else is.
Right. I'm not going to quit doing Facebook. I love it. We're not going to stop doing it. But that's what the media, I'm not saying, and you get lumped in there sometimes. And I know I lump the media. Sometimes the media pushes you, as I've learned through the Last Dance, how they pushed Michael Jordan and he just quit talking. And, I just, and sometimes I admire those sheriffs that don't do. Sometimes I'm like, it'd be nice if I just never
I don't know, admire. So you may want to edit that word. I don't know if admire would be the word I would use for that.
For a short time, I'm like, that would be super nice if I just didn't do anything. I didn't tell anybody anything and just put a press release out. Didn't put it on Facebook, just handed you a press release through an email and never said another word about it. Sometimes I think, man, that'd be so nice.
Yeah.
Because
it'd be great on Dryden if all we did was human interest stories and stories about puppies and rainbows.
Right.
That's it.
That's not how the world works.
Yeah, no kidding.
I love what I'm doing. I'm going to keep doing it that way. Right. We're doing it.
So we have 3 more here. 2 of them we can kind of breeze through. These are actually Wisconsin State Patrol. And when I was getting these press releases, I got them like one at 9:30 Saturday night, so I posted it. Then I went to bed, and then first thing Sunday morning, they had sent another one at 11 that night. Right. And I remember thinking when I got these, State Patrol is investigating. Oh, Fitzy must be tired. Sheriff's is not going to be the lead agency. Our headline was, on one of them, driver arrested for OWI following 3-vehicle crash in Barron County. Are you aware of that situation?
Sure. We actually handled the accident report. There was a trooper on duty. He actually handled the OWI. That's why the State Patrol, their sergeants or lieutenants, who's ever back in Eau Claire, do these press releases immediately. I didn't need to comment on the 3-vehicle crash because there was injuries, but it wasn't I wouldn't do a press release on just the accident. They handled the OWI part. And that's a crime when you injure somebody while you're drunk. That's the enhancer. That's why you got the press release on that. But no serious injuries on that. No serious injuries. I think there's some injuries, but nothing, no one's going to die from that. But that's why we have it. That's why you can't drink and drive. That's why you shouldn't drink and drive, because bad things happen.
Yeah, it's not just you. Like, I really don't care that if you want to get drunk and get behind the wheel of a car and crash into a tree and be paralyzed the rest of your life. I honestly don't care. The problem is you could be hitting my family.
Right.
And they could be the ones that are paralyzed for the rest of your life. Now I got a problem with that. That's the only thing, right? So I don't care. People can do whatever they want. You want to get high on meth in your own house? Go right ahead. I don't care. You're probably going to get busted at some point, but if not, fine. Go ahead. Just, don't do it in public. Don't drive anywhere. Don't, whatever. Okay, so the other one that also came late that night, but we didn't post till the next morning, was Barron man arrested for 6th offense OWI after Wisconsin State Patrol stop. I believe it was that one or something else. Maybe it was a different one that I saw it. And originally, they pulled a person over for tinted windows.
I don't know what to stop.
No, tinted windows. No, leave those people alone. They're good citizens, except for this person.
Yeah, that's right. You can't be. Those are the chances you take, whether you're speeding or didn't stop for a stop sign or whatever it is. Tail light out. I mean, it's simple little things. And now this guy had 6th offense, and that's why you got it. Because it's felony. The State Patrol, I think their policy is 5th offense or more. They have to do a press release on you.
State Patrol?
That's their policy. So.
No, I get them all the time. I don't post a lot of them, but I get a ton that is first offense. Anytime there's an alcohol related, and at least the Wisconsin State Patrol Spooner post, I'm not kidding. I get these all the time. I don't post most of them because it's just first offense.
There has to be, but it's more than just first offense. It has to be an injury. I think it has to be more than just a first offense. I think before a press release.
Actually, now I think about it, all of those were with a minor child in vehicle. Sure. All the first offense. I bet that must be the kicker. Right.
It's anything. I think that they have a misdemeanor or felony. I think they do a press release.
Okay, so it must be when you have a child under 16 or a minor child in the vehicle, that must make it a felony.
Yep. Or injury, or more than 5th offense. Yes, things like that. But yeah, we're starting to see, and I don't know. It seems like we're trending right now with some higher numbers: 5th offense, 6th offense. Somebody just put 10th offense. In Burnett County. So. I mean, we're starting to see a little bit more than that. So we're watching it a little bit, a little concerned, but I'm always concerned when it comes to OWIs. I don't think our OWI numbers are up. I think they're steady. Again, we can't get them to go down, which is our whole goal here. But we'll see what happens. All
right. And then a story I put up yesterday on driveway.com. It's an insider story. Our headline is Cumberland woman faces reckless homicide charges in Fentanyl-Meth death case. I think I even saw, hold on a second. Hold on. Let me read the first part. A death investigation in Westlake, Wisconsin has resulted in reckless homicide charges of Rosemary Hart, age 38, of Cumberland. The medical examiner determined the cause of death was the toxic effects of fentanyl and methamphetamine. Hart is charged with providing the drugs to the deceased during the night that the death occurred. The Honorable James Babler, this was last week, August 4th, had a hearing on the homicide charges. Babler ordered a $10,000 cash bond, and there's another court hearing that would be tomorrow. She's out. Oh, sounds like she's out of jail already. Which that's perfectly fine, right? It's $10,000 cash bond. Wow, that's a lot. Right. But I believe I saw on Facebook somewhere. It was a tribal police department Facebook page. I think it was like St. Croix Tribal. I can't remember. That they were the ones that. Ow! I just wanted to take a screenshot of that. We'll come back on. I believe I saw on. Maybe it wasn't St. Croix Tribe. It was. I believe it was a tribal law enforcement Facebook page. I had seen that they were the ones that apprehended her. I believe. I can't remember
tribal
which.
Arrested her. I don't know the whole story.
Yeah, there was an arrest warrant for her.
Right. There was an arrest warrant for her. She maybe didn't show up or didn't do something. I don't know the whole story, but
it's in the story. You should read Dreadwire Insider Story. Well, you were so busy last week.
I was busy, yeah. So,
but we like seeing this, right? I mean, your takeaway. This is a person that is being charged with all the actual, the technical definitions are all in the story, but the short version is reckless homicide charges. It's homicide for providing drugs, to fentanyl and meth to a person who died from that.
Right.
We like seeing that, right?
We'd love seeing that. That is the key to what we do. And that hopefully will develop into something else, and we'll keep going up the ladder. That means we're going up the ladder, and up the ladder is how we stop the drugs from coming into the county, and hopefully we'll get there.
Some people don't like that, right?
That we go up the ladder?
In order to get up the ladder, maybe you got to get some deals.
Right. And there would be no deal in this case because they caused the death, but they might give us some information to lessen the sentencing. Maybe they get 12 years instead of 15. So this is the better part of a deal here. We might go, I'm just using numbers. I have no idea. She might get 100 years. I have no idea, but she might get reduced 5 years. Well,
we're not DAs. We don't understand that world. That's their jobs. We're just speaking, random numbers here.
If we can go up the ladder here, and get somebody bigger that stops this from happening again, that's the whole goal. So,
yeah, maybe DA Wright can get a cartel member on trial up here in Barron County,
and then we can have the cartel on our show.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We'll have some guy with a blurred face, and
they got money. Maybe they want to be a sponsor or an advertiser or something. I don't know. All right. Yeah. Well, that's all. I mean, we had a lot to get through. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to talk about that we didn't get a chance to? Hey, how about this? It's our 150th show.
Right.
We've talked before, I think, during our 100th show. Hold on. What happened to the guy in the U.S. Marshals in Barron County caught in Poskin and then shot? Oh. I don't recall that.
That is DCI. That is not our case. So
that would be Attorney General's office.
Yep, the Attorney General's. I mean, there isn't much to that case. So, the person is deceased in the car. No law enforcement fired any weapons. So. Oh,
right. Yeah. Okay, that's the one.
That's all I can comment on it.
Yeah.
So.
Before we get into that, here's Dirk. Thank you, our official weatherman for our Ben and Fitzy show. Sunny, low 80s. 60 tomorrow. Good. We need rain. Holy cow.
Yeah, we could use a little rain.
Yeah, weekend looks nice. High in the 70s.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff going on this weekend. It's Hagen Fun Days. You know where Hagen is?
Yeah, I haven't been there ever since 53, because that's right next to where all those traffic crashes always happen.
Right, V and 53, correct.
Frick, yeah.
So it's Hagen Fun Days, so you can go to Hagen. We're doing a canine demo on Saturday afternoon with our canines in front of Dairy State Bank, right in Hagen. There's a big fly-in at the Rice Lake Airport from, I'm looking at 8 to 2. There's backpack giveaways for school supplies at Red Cedar Church and Barron Wayside soccer fields on Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning.
How do people get that? They just go and...
Yeah, family fun day put on by the Salvation Army, Red Cedar Church.
Wow.
Food, fun, and games, 10 to 1, Saturday, August 12th. A pancake breakfast by the Cameron Boy Scouts at the airport on Saturday morning.
They still have Boy Scouts? I thought that was you can't call them Boy Scouts there. I don't know. Maybe they still have Boy Scouts? I didn't even know that was still a thing.
There's Cameron Boy Scouts here. So.
Well, there you go.
So there'll be a fly-in. There'll be parachute jumpers at noon at the Rice Lake Airport. There's a Harley Davidson kids candy drop from a helicopter. Lifelink helicopter is going to be there, who are awesome.
Wait, they drop candy out of a helicopter and the kids are expected to catch it? I'm pretty sure there's some liability issues here.
I don't think they drop it right on top of the kids.
Oh, but if it hits them in the head and you're just saying some hard candy.
Comes out and boom. That's why we have Lifelink there.
That's why we have
So no, so that's always a cool thing. But lots of stuff over in Hagen. We'll be at Hagen Fun Days this weekend. Tons of stuff going on. It's the end of summer. Then we're off a week, and then it's Rutabaga. There's nothing that's this third weekend in August, and then it's Labor Day right after that. So big end.
What do you mean we're off a week?
We're not off. I mean, there's nothing on that weekend. I'm not off.
Oh, okay. So, you got to tell me these things ahead of time. If we're not doing a show.
No, we're going to do 150 first next week. So hopefully there'll be no press releases and we can do something fun.
Yeah, no kidding. There has been a lot going on. So Mike Shaver, thank you very much. Congratulations, 150 shows. Mike's been on a lot of our shows. He was on our 100th show No,
He
shoot.
was mad. He said I was supposed to tell you. He's mad he's not on the 150th.
I just now realized that we probably should have had him on for 150th, but then again, you
And
said
they
he was in the
both-
car anyway right now, so he wouldn't be able to do it. So
He would have pulled over and done it for us.
okay, yeah, I
And
didn't
Dave
think about
Wilson was
that.
on our 100 too.
Yeah, so holy cow, 150. Thank you so much, Fitzy, for doing this stuff, man. I mean, it
love
doesn't
it.
feel like 150 shows.
No, but we do it a lot now, and it's fun. And I love to inform the public and answer their questions, and that's what we love to do. So,
We need to have like a negative day show.
a negative day.
Yeah.
Instead of positive Tuesday.
Yeah. And our tagline can be, so instead of little things make a big difference, we can have it, and remember, behind every silver lining, there's a dark cloud, right? Just everything is a little negative.
Just rip on people. Huh?
Yeah.
Then our
That'd be
show
great.
would go national. If we were so positive.
It
This
would.
show's too positive. We can't take it.
It
national.
would. That's why. Exactly. We got to have things that scares everybody and be really negative about everything, and then it'll be really huge. When we hit very strong opinions, we could talk about politics. Like speaking of the USA team, where nobody seemed to care about the women's soccer, we could talk about really we have 320 million people in America, and if it's going to be another Biden-Trump election, really this is the best we can do. 320 million people. Those are the two best options that we're showing to the world. This is the best of America. These two. Really? Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, and again, happy birthday to my father, Terry Dryden. His birthday is tomorrow. And then, that's it. Kids are gone. Drusha just left. She's off all week. So the kids are also leaving for leadership, for Washburn County leadership camp stuff, whatever. They just left this morning. So we're going to have 2 days with no kids.
Oh.
I don't know what to do. So you're newly, you don't have kids at home all the time, right?
Chase is home all the time, but he's going to leave pretty soon, and
right.
then I'll be empty nesters again, and we'll
It's going to be weird for the next 2 days.
Party.
Yeah, you know me.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. All right. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, our 100th show, 150th show. This is presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors, who sounds like they're out on Fitzy's parents' house right now doing roof work. They provide quality work both on the inside and the outside of your house, including roofs. Give them a call today. Phone number is right there on the screen, 715-520-2271. I'll see everyone this Thursday when I'll be chatting with Congressman Tom Tiffany for our monthly show. And then, of course, Fitzy and I'll see you back here next Tuesday. Remember, behind every silver lining is a dark cloud. So until then, thank you for watching, and as always, have a blessed day.